You wake up one morning expecting a normal day, but instead, everything falls apart. Maybe you lose your job, someone you love betrays you, or an illness takes away your strength. Suddenly, the world feels cruel and indifferent. You spiral into frustration, asking why me? But what if I told you that caring less, not in a reckless way, but in a wise, disciplined way, is the key to enduring life's hardships? Over 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled during plagues, wars, and betrayals, discovered a secret. The more control you seek over life, the more miserable you become. True power lies in accepting what you cannot change and focusing only on what you can control. His philosophy, Stoicism, isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about learning to detach from what doesn't serve you. Imagine facing every crisis with an unshakable mind, where nothing, not failure, not loss, not even death, can break you. Sounds impossible. It isn't. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why. The psychology of caring less. Why do we suffer so much when life doesn't go as planned? Why does rejection, failure, or a simple negative comment sometimes feel like a personal attack? It's because we are deeply attached to our expectations, to our desires, to how we believe life should be. We expect people to always be kind, relationships to last forever, success to come easily, and hardships to be temporary. But the reality is often harsh, unpredictable, and indifferent to what we want. The problem isn't life itself, it's our reaction to it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood this deeply. He believed that most human suffering isn't caused by external events, but by the way we interpret them. Think about it. Two people face the same difficult situation. One crumbles under the weight of despair, while the other moves forward, seemingly unaffected. The difference isn't in the situation itself, but in the way each person chooses to process it. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics mastered this mindset by practicing detachment. But don't mistake this for cold, emotionless indifference. Stoic detachment isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about not letting emotions control you. It's about realizing that you don't have to react impulsively to everything that happens. When you stop placing your happiness in things beyond your control, you become mentally unshakable. The science behind this philosophy. Interestingly, modern psychology aligns with these ancient Stoic teachings. Studies show that rumination, repeatedly dwelling on negative events, amplifies stress, anxiety, and depression. The more we obsess over what we can't change, the more we reinforce the pain it causes us. On the other hand, research in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, shows that when we challenge our negative thoughts and stop reacting emotionally to every setback, we regain control over our mental state. Think about the last time someone insulted you, or when a plan fell apart. How long did you dwell on it? How many times did you replay the moment in your head? What if, instead of overanalyzing it, you had simply acknowledged it, accepted it, and moved on? The truth is, we suffer twice, once when the event happens, and again when we keep reliving it in our minds. But what if we could stop the second kind of suffering? Whenever life hurts, ask yourself, am I suffering because of what happened? Or because I'm resisting it? Most of the time, it's the second one. And once you recognize that, you've already taken the first step toward freedom. How to build an unshakable mindset. The world will not stop throwing challenges your way. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Life will at times seem unfair. But what if none of this had the power to truly break you? What if, no matter what happened, you remain calm, focused, and unshaken? This is what Marcus Aurelius mastered, the ability to stand firm, no matter how chaotic life became. His rule as a Roman emperor was filled with war, betrayal, loss, and suffering, yet he never let external hardships destroy his inner peace. How? Through a Stoic mindset, one that allows you to care less about what you can't control and focus entirely on what you can. Control your inner dialogue. What you say to yourself matters more than what anyone else says to you. Most suffering doesn't come from external events, but from how we interpret them. If someone insults you, you have two options. Take it personally, replay the words in your head, and let them ruin your day. See the insult as nothing more than noise, irrelevant to your worth, powerless over your emotions. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment about it. Everything changes when you reframe your thoughts. Instead of thinking, this is unfair, why me, Train yourself to think, this is temporary. I will rise above it. Instead of they hurt me, say, I decide whether this hurts me or not. Your mind is your kingdom, guard it fiercely. Accept the things you cannot change. Much of our stress comes from resisting reality. We wish things were different, we fight against circumstances beyond our control, and we let frustration consume us. But what if, instead of resisting, we accepted? A Stoic practice called amor fati, or love of fate, teaches us to embrace whatever happens, even when it's painful. Instead of seeing hardship as an obstacle, see it as part of your path. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me, say this is happening for me. What can I learn from it? Practical exercise. Next time something goes wrong, instead of complaining, pause and say, this is outside my control. I accept it. Now what's my next step? Notice how this shift in perspective instantly reduces stress and anxiety. Detach from external validation. Most people spend their lives seeking approval, chasing praise, fearing judgment, and trying to impress others. But Marcus Aurelius warned against this. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but we care more about their opinions than our own. If someone criticizes you, it's just their opinion, not a reflection of your worth. If people praise you, that's also just an opinion, not a measure of your success. Real confidence comes from within, not from external validation. Practical exercise. Imagine you post something online and get 0 likes. Imagine you tell a joke and no one laughs. Imagine someone disapproves of your choices. Now ask yourself, does this really change who I am? Does it affect my worth? If the answer is no, you've unlocked one of the greatest forms of freedom, freedom from other people's opinions. Adopt the Stoic morning and night reflection. One of the most powerful habits of the Stoics was self-reflection. Every morning, they prepared their minds for the day ahead. Every night, they reviewed their thoughts and actions. Morning reflection. Ask yourself, what challenges might I face today? How will I respond to them with wisdom instead of emotion? Set an intention. No matter what happens, I will remain calm, rational, and in control of my emotions. Night reflection. Ask yourself, did I let anything control my emotions today? Did I react out of impulse? What can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice builds mental resilience over time, training you to become emotionally stronger every day. The mind is a muscle, train it daily. Marcus Aurelius didn't become unshakable overnight. It took practice, just like training a muscle. The more you train your mind to care less about what you can't control, the stronger you become. Remember, you control your mind, not external events. Accept what you cannot change and move forward. Stop seeking validation. Your worth comes from within. Reflect daily to build mental resilience. Life will test you. But when you master your mind, nothing can truly break you. How to apply Marcus Aurelius' wisdom to modern life. It's easy to admire the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, but how do we actually apply it in our daily lives? The world has changed since ancient Rome, but the struggles of the human mind remain the same. The same challenges, stress, disappointment, loss, fear, still exist. The difference is how we respond to them. Let's break down 3 powerful ways you can start implementing Stoic philosophy right now to develop unshakable inner strength. Treat every problem as a test of character. Most people view problems as annoyances, as things that ruin their day. But Marcus Aurelius saw them differently. Every challenge, every difficulty, every setback, these were tests of character. When something goes wrong, instead of reacting emotionally, ask yourself, how would Marcus Aurelius handle this? Can I respond with wisdom, patience, and strength instead of frustration? What lesson is hidden in this moment? By reframing problems as tests, you instantly take back control. Instead of complaining, you rise above the situation. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim, you see yourself as a warrior in training, learning, adapting, and becoming mentally stronger. Practical challenge. The next time someone frustrates you, don't react. Pause. Breathe. Say to yourself, this is a test. Let me pass it with patience and strength. Watch how much power this simple shift gives you over your emotions. Master the art of letting go. One of the greatest causes of human suffering is attachment. Attachment to people, attachment to outcomes, attachment to control. But the reality is we control very little in life. You can't control the past, so why replay it in your mind? You can't control other people, so why stress over their opinions? You can't control every outcome, so why fear failure? Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He reminded himself every day, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Practical challenge. Write down 3 things you constantly stress over that are outside your control. Next to each one, write, this is beyond my control. I let it go. Whenever anxiety creeps in, remind yourself, if it's out of my hands, it's out of my mind. The more you practice letting go, the more peace you will feel. Build an unbreakable morning ritual. How you start your day shapes how you handle everything that follows. If you begin your day reacting, checking your phone, scrolling social media, absorbing negativity, you lose control before the day even begins. Marcus Aurelius had a powerful morning ritual to prepare his mind for the day. He reminded himself of 3 things. Life is unpredictable, so don't expect it to be easy. People will disappoint you, so don't take it personally. You can control your response, so act with wisdom, not emotion. Practical morning ritual. Before checking your phone, take 5 minutes to sit in silence. Remind yourself, today, I will not let anything disturb my peace. Read a short passage from Meditations or another book that strengthens your mindset. Write down 1 Stoic principle you will apply that day. By starting your day with intention, you take control of your mindset before the world does. Live with strength, not emotion. The world wants you to react. It wants you to be emotional, impulsive, and easily controlled by fear, anger, and stress. But you don't have to play that game. You can rise above it. Every day you have a choice. Give in to emotion or master it. Let the world control you, or control yourself. Live like everyone else, or live like a Stoic. Which will you choose? The mindset shift that will change everything. Now that we've explored the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, let's talk about the one mindset shift that will transform the way you experience life, the shift from reacting to responding. Most people go through life reacting to problems, to people, to emotions. Someone says something negative, and they react with anger. Something goes wrong, and they react with frustration. They let the world pull them in every direction, and in doing so, they lose their inner peace. But Stoicism, and especially Marcus Aurelius' teachings, show us that the key to true strength is to develop the ability to respond rather than react. The power of the space between stimulus and response. There's a famous quote by Viktor Frankl that perfectly aligns with Stoic philosophy. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. In our choice lies our freedom. This means that no matter what happens to you, there's always a gap, a brief but critical moment where you have the power to decide. Will I react emotionally and let this situation control me? Or will I pause, think, and choose my response? The difference between these two approaches is everything. One leads to chaos, suffering, and regret, while the other leads to clarity, wisdom, and self-mastery. When you react impulsively, your emotions dictate your reality. But when you respond thoughtfully, you dictate your reality. This is what separates those who thrive in life from those who are enslaved by their emotions. How to train yourself to respond instead of react. This is where true mental discipline comes in. If you want to become someone who remains calm and composed in any situation, you need to train your mind the same way you would train a muscle. Here's how. Practice the 3-second rule. Anytime you feel anger, frustration, or fear rising, pause for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, remind yourself, I control my response, not the situation. Instead of speaking or acting impulsively, take a deep breath, shift your perspective, and respond intelligently, not emotionally. The difference between an immediate reaction and a calculated response is life-changing. Adopt a Stoic morning reflection. Marcus Aurelius started each day preparing his mind for whatever challenges he might face. You can do the same. Each morning, remind yourself, today, I will meet challenges. People may be rude. Problems may arise. But none of these things will control my emotions. I will respond, not react. This simple practice builds emotional resilience and sets the tone for the entire day. Review your day like a Stoic. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect. Did I react emotionally today? If so, why? How could I have responded differently? Tomorrow, how can I be even more in control of myself? Marcus Aurelius did this every night, writing in his journal about the way he handled situations, what he could improve, and how he could strengthen his character. Over time, this self-reflection turns into self-mastery. Master the art of detachment. When something upsets you, Imagine you are an outsider looking in. Instead of feeling like the main character in the situation, pretend you are simply observing it. Ask yourself, if I were advising a friend in this situation, what would I tell them to do? This mental trick removes the emotional charge from the moment and helps you respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Choose strength over emotion. The truth is, life will never stop testing you. Problems will always come. People will always disappoint. Unexpected challenges will always appear. But the question is, will you let them control you? Most people live their entire lives as slaves to their emotions, angry when things don't go their way, anxious about the future, frustrated over things they can't control. But you have a choice. You can react, like most people do, and let life dictate your emotions. Or you can respond, like a Stoic, and take full control of your mind. The strongest people in history, the ones who changed the world, weren't controlled by their emotions. They were in control of themselves. And so, I ask you, which one will you choose? The ultimate freedom, mastering your inner world. At the core of Marcus Aurelius' philosophy lies one profound truth: the only true freedom in life is the mastery of your inner world. Everything outside of you, people, circumstances, setbacks, and even success, is temporary and uncontrollable. But what's inside you, your mindset, your perspective, and your ability to control your responses, is where your real power lies. Think about it, who is truly free? The person who reacts to every insult, every disappointment, and every failure? Or the person who remains calm, unshaken, and focused no matter what happens? Most people believe freedom comes from money, status, or material success. But history proves that even the wealthiest and most powerful individuals have lived as prisoners of their emotions, trapped in anger, anxiety, and fear. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful men in history, an emperor ruling over the vast Roman Empire. And yet, he understood that real freedom is not external, it's internal. The ability to wake up every day and not be controlled by negative emotions, that is the greatest power a person can have. How to strengthen your inner world every day. Just like a warrior trains for battle, you must train your mind daily to become mentally and emotionally unshakable. Here's how. Accept that life will always be uncertain. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They will never come. The future will always be unpredictable. People will always be flawed. The sooner you accept this, the less suffering you'll create for yourself. Separate what you can control from what you can't. You can't control how others treat you, what challenges arise, or what the future holds. But you can control your thoughts, your responses, and your focus. Every time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, am I focused on what I can control or what I can't? Train yourself to see every challenge as an opportunity. Marcus Aurelius didn't see obstacles as problems, he saw them as opportunities to grow stronger. Every hardship is a test of your resilience. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this make me stronger? Live by the Stoic mantra, Memento Mori. Memento Mori means, remember that you will die. This is not meant to scare you, it's meant to free you. Most people live as if they are immortal, wasting time, dwelling on petty problems, and delaying their dreams. But when you remember that life is temporary, you start living differently. You stop wasting energy on negativity. You stop fearing failure. You start focusing on what truly matters. Who do you want to be? At the end of your life, you will look back and see either a person who was controlled by their emotions, easily angered, constantly anxious, and affected by everything around them, or a person who remained calm, focused, and strong no matter what life threw their way. The choice is yours. Most people will spend their entire lives being controlled by their emotions. But if you apply the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, you will be one of the few who learn to control themselves, and in doing so, you will unlock a level of freedom that most will never experience. So I ask you, will you continue to let life control you? Or will you take control of yourself and master your mind? The power of letting go, detach, and rise above. One of the most life-changing lessons from Marcus Aurelius is this: detach yourself from what does not serve you. Most people suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how tightly they hold on to things that don't matter: their ego, their expectations, their need for approval, their obsession with control. Aurelius believed that true strength comes from learning to let go, to stop clinging to every emotion, every opinion, every outcome, and instead rise above it all. Think about the worst moments in your life. What caused the most suffering? Was it the situation itself? Or was it your attachment to how you thought things should be? How to let go and gain ultimate peace. Most people cling to 3 things that destroy their peace. Here's how to break free from each one. Let go of the need for external validation. If your happiness depends on what others think of you, you will never be free. People's opinions change constantly. Today they praise you, tomorrow they forget you. Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Let go of the past. Most people spend their lives reliving old pain, regrets, and mistakes. But the past is a prison of your own making. It only exists in your mind. Ask yourself, what purpose does holding on to this serve? If the answer is nothing, then why let it rob you of your present? Let go of the illusion of control. You cannot control people, outcomes, or the future, only your reaction to them. The more you try to force things, the more you suffer. Instead of resisting what is, learn to adapt, accept, and move forward. As Aurelius said, do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. The ultimate freedom, becoming untouchable. When you detach from what does not serve you, you become untouchable. No criticism can break you. No failure can define you. No loss can destroy you. Because you are no longer ruled by the external world, you have mastered the inner world. Marcus Aurelius did not just preach these ideas, he lived them. He ruled over an empire, faced betrayals, plagues, and war, yet he remained calm, strong, and unshaken. That is true power. And it is a power you can cultivate within yourself if you choose to. So I ask you, are you ready to let go and become untouchable? The power of indifference, caring less, living more. Most people care too much about what others think, about things they can't control, about problems that don't really matter. And what does that bring them? Stress, anxiety, and endless frustration. Marcus Aurelius had a different approach. Care less about what doesn't serve you. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every setback deserves your emotions. When you stop wasting energy on things beyond your control, you gain mental clarity, emotional strength, and unshakable peace. How to apply the power of indifference in daily life. Detach from others' opinions. People will judge you no matter what you do, so why let it affect you? Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The only opinion that matters? Your own. Stop reacting emotionally. When someone insults you, pause. When life throws a challenge at you, breathe. Reacting emotionally means you're a slave to external events. But when you control your reaction, you own your power. Let go of what you can't control. Traffic, rude people, bad weather, setbacks, these aren't worth your frustration. Shift your focus to what you can control, your mindset, your habits, your actions. Freedom through indifference. Imagine a life where insults don't bother you. Failure doesn't paralyze you. Setbacks don't control your mood. That's the life Marcus Aurelius lived. That's the life you can live. Because when you stop giving your energy to the unimportant, you free yourself for what truly matters. So, what will you stop caring about today? Life will always test you, and hardships will come and go, but how you respond is entirely in your control. Marcus Aurelius understood that true strength lies in mastering your own mind, choosing calm over chaos, wisdom over impulse, and resilience over despair. If you found value in these timeless Stoic lessons, don't just let them pass. Take action. Subscribe now and join a community that seeks wisdom, strength, and inner peace. Turn knowledge into power, and let's walk this path together.